You know, it is actually very easy to make $1 million. And we will simply use compound interest, right, to do this. As you can see here, Albert Einstein says it's the eighth wonder of the world. Compound interest is that powerful. So let's use this to our advantage and make $1 million. Here I have an investment calculator, right? So let's say this person, say he's 30 years old, he wants to retire at age 60. He actually hasn't invested anything, so he starts out at $0. But he's willing to contribute $500 a month and then just invest that and let it ride. For every year, let's say his annual return is about 10%, right? So this is the S&P 500 or the top 500 companies in the world that he's invested into to actually make this kind of return. As you can see, in 30 years, he actually hits $1 million. This is as easy as it gets. You don't have to start a business, right? You don't have to put a lot of effort. It is simply putting money away like a savings account, but instead of saving that money, you are investing that money, right? So by the time in 30 years, it'll actually grow and grow and grow until it hits $1 million. And what's really cool about it is that all this growth is actually compounding over time, which simply means the money that's working for you ends up making more money. And that more money the next year makes you even more money. And that more money the year after that makes you even more money. So it's interest that's making you more interest, which makes you even more interest, and so on and so forth, which gives you this exponential pattern. This is exactly what Einstein was talking about. If you understand this, you will make $1 million. Now, this is the summary on how to do it. I will now show you how you can do this exact same strategy here that will help you guarantee and lock in $1 million in your life. First thing I like to do is use a broker like Fidelity. Fidelity is actually a really cool broker, and they've been around for a very long time. They have trillions and trillions of dollars under management, and they are pretty much one of the best brokers out there, in my opinion, to be able to make $1 million. Now, there's actually a lot of other brokers out there that I'll get into later that is a lot easier to set up. But here, I'm going to show you in Fidelity, if you use the simple ticker VOO, which is the Vanguard 500 Index Fund. And now why I chose this is because when we look back on this investment calculator, you can see down here in this fine print that and historically the S&P 500 returns in the 30-year returns have roughly been about 10 to 12%, which is exactly what we're aiming for right here. So when we go back to Fidelity, I can actually show you that this Vanguard 500 index fund, which literally tracks the S&P 500, or what a better way to describe it as the top 500 companies in the world you are actually investing into. Or not in the world, I should really say in the United States, I'm sorry. But I can show you that its performance, if we look here, its performance have been very, very good. Actually, we've been hitting over 10%. In 10 years, we've been making about 16.5%, which is really cool because, say, for example, if this were to continue for the next 30 years, 16% will actually get you $4 million instead of one. But the average is about 10% throughout 30 years. So we'll stick to this. But if you just invest into this fund, VOO, this Vanguard 500 index fund is a very good fund because it literally tracks the S&P 500. I'm repeating this. And it is very, very cheap to own. This net expenditure ratio, which is literally the fees that goes behind this fund as you're invested into, is only 0.03%. So that basically means for every $10,000 you invest into this Vanguard 500 index fund, you're only paying $3 a year. Now you want to keep fees as low as possible. This is how you generate as much wealth as possible, right? So you simply, in Fidelity or in any other broker or whatever you prefer, open up a broker account, type in VOO in the search bar, and literally click this green button right here, buy, just, I'll show you right now. BOO, choose your trading account. This isn't my Roth IRA, this is just an example, which is actually an investment account. I'll probably go over this retirement account later, but this is built for retirement. Let's click buy. How many shares do we want? Well, you can choose one share. That means you'll be paying $416, right? Because this Vanguard 500 index fund, to own one share is $416. Now, if you click on dollars, you don't have to pay $416. This is what's cool about it, is that you can actually put in $20, right? And then you can just click market order, which means that it will buy it as soon as possible. Limit is usually if you want to choose at what price you want to buy this fund at. So if you wanted to, if you don't like $416, you can actually choose, okay, I want to buy it at $400, for example. But usually, this symbol doesn't really go up or down that much. So, I mean, a better estimate would be 415. But regardless, limit doesn't matter. What we want is market order because we'll buy at this price, and this is what we want. Now, if we're investing $500 a month, well, we put in $500, preview order, click buy, submit it, and you're done. Now, I'm not going to actually do it. I can show you. I mean, the market's closed right now on my side because it's 10:48. You can see, boom, yep, that doesn't work. But tomorrow morning it will execute if I did want to preview order. But right now my cash available to trade is 16 cents. So either way, I'm rambling. That doesn't matter. But it's easy as this. You just click buy, click the dollar amount, choose how much you want to put into it, market, preview, buy, you're done. It's that easy to invest and make $1 million. Now, if you just do this every month, over and over and over again, you will make $1 million. Now, Fidelity is just one broker you can use. I have here, oops, I'll go over this later. Here, these are a lot of other good brokers that you could choose. You can actually choose Charles Schwab's. These are the let me put it this way. These 4 brokers are the biggest brokers in America right now, and these are the most popular, and they all have great customer support. And what's really cool about these brokers is that most of them are, at this point, are all free to start investing with. So you don't have to have a minimum balance or any of that. Charles Schwab is very good. They have great customer support. You can actually go to a Charles Schwab building if you ever need help or if you need a financial advisor to choose what you want to invest into. Highly recommend this one. Even though it's not supposed to be financial advice, I promise you, you will be fine if you invest into this in the long term, 30 years out. I'm not talking about 1 month. I'm not talking about 5 months from now. I'm not talking about 1 year. I'm talking about 30 years or even 20 years. You will be fine if you invest into the S&P 500. Wrong one. You can use Charles Schwab to do it. You can use Fidelity Investments, which is what I'm showing you right here. You can use TD Ameritrade. You can use Vanguard, which is actually the creator of this fund. Vanguard is actually a really good broker because they have very, very low fees. Fidelity actually competes with Vanguard a lot and tries to keep their fees as low as possible. But if you want an easy way to start investing as soon as possible right away, there are some great mobile apps right here. Here I do include the referral links. They will be down in the description if you want some free stocks or some free cash. It does help the channel, so it does support that. I know you guys will like my content. I do plan on making a video for each one of these if you guys would like to, about how each broker works and giving them a review and my opinions on each one. But I will say M1 Finance is a really good broker, simple, easy to set up, easy to use. Robinhood is very popular. Lots and lots of people use Robinhood to invest. Webull is another really good one. This was built more for advanced investors if you really want to get into the nitty-gritty details of each fund or stock, as an example. Public.com is actually another newer investment broker, but they are a lot more clean and simple, like kind of like Robinhood. Now, what's really cool is that you can actually text people, so it's kind of like the Facebook world of investing, and you can actually you can communicate with other people, follow people if you like, see how they invest. You can copy their strategies, do whatever you want. This is what Robinhood would look like if you joined them. This is what Webull would look like if you wanted to join them. Here's what M1 Finance would look like if you wanted to join them. And I will say, let's see, what else do I want to talk about? Oh, yes. If we look here, before you start investing, before you start doing any of this, pay off your credit card debts, pay off your student loan debts, pay off your car payments, any debt you have except mortgage on your house, any other debts, pay those off. The reason I ask this is, or the reason why I tell you is because all of these debts actually work against you. You actually have compound interest working against you when you're under debt. This because they have, I'm sure you know this, but the interest rate on your debt is working against you. Therefore, get, giving you a lot less of a return than what you could be making in the stock market if you had no debt. So paying all of these debt off is a guaranteed return on your investment if you think of it that way. And if you pay all of this off, then you are golden. You can actually invest into the S&P 500, and actually somewhat people do is leverage their house, right? So they actually keep the mortgage on the house, use the difference, invest into the S&P 500 and get the difference gain. So say for example, if your house has a 2% mortgage rate, right? Or let's say a 3% mortgage rate. I know some people actually have a 3% mortgage rate, and the S&P 500 gives you a 10% mortgage rate. Well, you just subtract the two, and now you are up 5%. So now you just made an extra 5% on money that's not really yours. Now this is more advanced. I wouldn't recommend it if you'd rather have the peace of mind. But this is a mathematical way to actually build up your wealth a lot quicker. We're not going to go into that. That's a whole separate video. But definitely pay off your debt before you start investing. You need to pay off these debts. Student loans, car payments, credit cards, whatever. Pay off that debt except your mortgage. You don't have to worry about the mortgage. But yeah, that is pretty much the quickest and easiest way to make $1 million.